You may have had some follow-up from our office, and I just wanted to talk about our philosophy in terms of prospective clients and what we're hoping to accomplish. It's very important to us once somebody has engaged to make sure that if they are up for it, we want to help them get to the finish line, so to speak, and to get that estate plan in place. So if you've decided to work with another attorney, that's great, and we're happy for you because ultimately we want you to reach that end goal. If you're still waiting and wondering and thinking, well, maybe now's not the time, that's okay, but we are going to keep following up. There have been a few incidents recently. We had one during COVID where we had a gentleman who had started a process with us and said he was interested. We had sent him paperwork to fill in, and he had mentioned specifically that he wanted to make sure that his wife was taken care of. This was a second marriage, so he had children from a previous marriage as well. And unfortunately, he ended up passing away during COVID, and he had not done the paperwork, and he had not followed up to meet with me. You can imagine that doesn't feel good on my conscience to have the spouse be in that situation. So ultimately, her share of the estate is going to be 1/3 of the assets, and 2/3 of the assets are going to go to his children from the first marriage, which I'm sure was not his intent to have that happen. So we will continue to follow up, and part of the reason we want to follow up is we're very concerned about people reaching the finish line. An example of someone who failed to complete their estate plan, this was not someone who had worked with me, but it's somebody where I ended up doing the probate for them. There was a husband and wife, second marriage. They each had children from their first marriage, and they owned a home together, and that home was in joint tenancy. So when the wife passed away, which was not unexpected, she had cancer, the assets that she owned, the house specifically, went to her husband. And the husband at that point would have done well to put together a trust, but was not something he did. And 9 months later, he passed away unexpectedly. So the end result of that situation was that his 2 children ended up inheriting the house, and her 2 children were left out of the inheritance. Now obviously that was not his intent. In fact, on one of his accounts he had listed one of her children as a beneficiary on that account, so clearly he cared about her children, but because he failed to complete his plan, that was the situation in terms of his kids being the only ones to inherit. So we want to not have those situations happen to the prospects who have contacted us, and that's why we'll continue to follow up, hopefully in a gentle and not intrusive way. If you ever decide that you don't want to work with us, or you are already working with someone else, or for whatever reason you don't want us contacting you anymore, just let us know, and we won't continue to reach out. But in the meantime, we're going to encourage you to keep doing what you need to do to get to that finish line.